Hi, everybody. You know, you have to keep your inner work private. There's no other way to do it because when you turn within, there's only the self in there. You're the only one in there. But by their fruits ye shall know them, as the Bible says. So you can be sure that someone doing their inner work is blessing the universe, although it rarely looks like that or feels like that. I see some of you nodding your head. That's right. Well, then why on earth would you spend so many hours working on yourself when there's no payoff? Well, Vernon Howard says you always get your spiritual gold. So have no fear. Continue to plow through the darkness you encounter in your crazy mind, because the mind is divided. Here it is, divided between the opposites, right? What I've been struck with lately is that prayer is bringing the opposites together. It's obvious that in prayer, the mind is powerless because it doesn't have any space in which to operate. So you bring it together. That's a form of surrender. That's what is symbolized by the hands in prayer. And then you say, not my will, but thy will. Now, after many, many years and many, many tears, I have learned how to come to the still point and rest there. Of course, I'm pulled away just because I'm human, and that's how it works. The most empowered guru on the planet gets lost in his crazy thoughts because everybody has feet of clay. I find that the older I get, the clearer I get, and the simpler I get, and the more things I forget, of course, you know. I forget why I came into a room to get something, but I also forget the wounds that have been so grievous to me in years past. They now just don't seem so important. So, in summary, think about prayer as bringing the opposites together and asking that God's will be done. And you know what? Lawfully, God's will is always done. We may not see the immediate results. We may have to descend into hell for 3 days before we rise. In fact, that part of it is inevitable, but that's another talk. So just find times throughout the day to bow your head and know that you are surrendering to His will. And in His will is our peace. Namaste.